All right, and we're currently started. I haven't done this so much before, so I don't know how things are going to turn out. I sometimes get some feedback from my earphones. Sometimes they sort of like break up, or they because I'm using noise canceling mode. But sometimes I leave that noise canceling mode, and it's really annoying. So it might affect my speech in that regard, but that's just because I'm getting confused. Now, with that being said, I don't really know how to word it other than gruesome and disappointing. Here's exactly what happened. So yesterday I was at church. I went there because I go there pretty much every single Sunday when I have some time. And I stood up, I was singing, I was praising the Lord's name and so on. By the way, if you didn't know this, I'm a Pentecostal Christian. Maybe I've said it before, maybe I haven't. It doesn't really matter. What matters is this. So I'm obviously standing up, I'm singing. In front of me, there's this row of chicks, some girls. I don't know who they are. They probably know each other from school or studies or work. I don't really know. Looks like it's like this. There are several social circles that are meeting, friends of friends and so on, and that's fine. Now, here is the despicable thing. Number one, I see that several of these chicks, especially one who's overweight, nearly obese, she can't stand up. She can't stand up while singing. It's 15 minutes or so, not even that, it's 10 or 15 minutes of singing. And you just want to sit down because you're lazy. Because you don't have the proper respect to pay to the Almighty, to the Lord. Yeah, I know I'm sounding kind of old school. Well, definitely old school, but also old and grumpy, whatever. But if you go to church, that's the entire point. Is it not? I think so. So there's this chick. She's sitting there on her ass. Excuse me, she was actually leaning towards the pews, or the chairs rather, because there are no pews, but she was leaning towards the chairs. And she really just couldn't find the energy to stand up and sing. Now here's the even worse thing. After the singing was done, after the chanting session was done, there were a few other interludes, adverts for different stuff that was coming up. The collection of money and so on, all that kind of stuff. The usual stuff that goes on in a church service. Then it was time for the sermon. The preacher starts talking, and by the way, I had several issues with that sermon as well, because it was sort of like glorifying being poor. Being poor and broke was sort of like a good thing, and being rich and successful could lead to disaster. I disagree. I have so many things to say about that, but I'll save that for later. Because here's the worst part. During that sermon, you know what she did? That same fat girl was too lazy to stand up. She produced her phone 5 minutes into the speech, 5 minutes into the sermon, and started sending snaps, opening snaps, sending snaps to her friends. I mean, what sort of lack of respect, what sort of disrespectful conduct and behavior is that? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's a disrespectful conduct and behavior by someone who only wants to be seen. Oh, look at me, I go to church. I'm so morally grounded. I'm the best. And then it doesn't really matter what's being said there. For all that she cared, the preacher could have talked about how great gays are and how they're going to introduce rainbow masses. Right? So this sort of despicable behavior is indicative of a TEV, time and energy vampire, because that's what they do. They fear work, they don't want to work, they don't want to engage. All they want to do is relax, do as little as possible, and get away with as little work, or get away with anything that they can. Keep yourself away from them. Distance yourself away from them. Just look at how easier and much better your life your life will be when you do. And with that being said, I think I'm just going to end it here because it's a little bit chaotic. Lots and lots of people. If you can't see me, I'm seated at an airport, and this is no place sort of like to relax and do our rant, but whatever. Stay away from the TEVs, especially those who sit down during a sermon and who can't even concentrate for half an hour on what's really, really important in life. If you want to learn more about TEVs, time and energy behaviors, and how to avoid being around these people who drag you down, get subscribed to my email list. The link to do so is below the subscription wherever you're watching or listening to this, and I'll see you later.